We hope you're having a great start to your day. We know for sure that one artist is having the best morning he's had in a very long time. Logan Stats was the first ever artist chosen to release a new original song on the launch that debuted last night.
We're going to launch your record right now.
Can we do it big?
You don't want to suffocate tonight.
So to tell us more about the show is the co-creator, Scott Borchetta. He's in studio this morning. Good to talk to you. Congratulations.
Great to be here.
We were talking about the show in the meeting and saying, for me, it was like the best of like what you love about cooking shows, what you love about home design shows, where it's not about like rejection and criticism. Yes. It's all about the process of finding the hit songs that you sing in your car.
Absolutely. And, you know, with my prior experience working on American Idol, and I know that you've had experience in that space too, the biggest challenge was racing to the end of the season, figuring out a producer, figuring out a song. It's like, we've got to flip this model and make it about the artist. And let's start with a great song and a great producer and really try to get inside and make a record that is appropriate for each artist.
But that was one of the really interesting things that we saw yesterday, was trying to get these two completely distinct artists.
And good, both of them really good.
Phenomenal, and to connect with the same song, and they had to approach it from completely different spaces. And watching Logan try to connect really showed me that there is a difference between being a great singer and being a great recording artist.
Yes. And key on artist.
Yeah.
And that was the one challenge, because when he heard the song the first time, he was totally faking it. He's like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And so after we played it for him, I'm like, you have to trust us. There is a way to land this song with you performing it. And he was scared to death.
I think that's what I liked about the show the best. You know, I was saying, when you watch figure skating and you listen to the commentators and then you feel like you learn some of the lingo and you can also watch the process. But it was this arena, this space right here where I saw you say this is what you need to connect with, and saw his performance change. You get to see the guts of how a hit song is made. You know, the tapping and the timing of Busby into the mic saying this is what it needs to sound like to get that hook that people are going to sing.
You know, when you have a producer like Busby or Ryan Tedder, who's on next week's episode, you know, very specific and very quick. And when the construct of doing the launch within 48 hours, you have to be decisive. And we also, not knowing, you know, a year ago as we are getting ready for pre-production, what really it's going to be, another element of the show is you really identify who can clear their mind and come and deliver not only studio, but in the live space.
But Scott, what happens with a girl like Vivian, who was, she was mind-blowing in her talent, but she is young, and it was really interesting the way you guys were deciphering what she was doing. There she is. I mean, she didn't do anything wrong, no, but you asked the right question. Can we put a record together with this person? It's about that connection, right? Now, long after the launch is gone, you're still Scott Borchetta. You're still out there looking for talent. What do you do with a girl like this who you had to say goodbye to last night?
You don't say goodbye. You keep working with her.
Yeah.
And so I'll leave it at that. But I'm not done with Vivian Hicks.
I couldn't imagine that you would be. And you know, what happens though if you see these people? Like there are a lot of people on this show that they come, but you only see them for a few short minutes. Could we ever see them again?
I think you could. Not this season, but when we look at what we can do from a development process, there's so many great artists. And honestly, I've been blown away with the talent of all 6 episodes. So I don't know that we couldn't go, you know what, we're going to continue to develop you. And if we have the right song and that right producer opportunity, maybe we bring them back for a season 2.
The other thing that was an important element of the show is the mentors that you've brought on. So Shania Twain was on last night's episode. And what was cool is I've seen interviews with Shania, because I've seen her perform, but to see her instruct somebody and say, this is when you walk on the chorus, this is how you play, and this is who do you play to at certain points of the song, to see her teach her craft to somebody else was very cool.
Another thing that you don't know until you get into the space, every single superstar artist that we brought onto the show, I could take them back to the moment when they recorded their first song. And then they would physically and mentally go there. And Shania revealed things that she's never talked about before. The way that she does vocals, because for one of the artists that's on the longer version, the editor's cut on Crave, you have a little bit more in depth on all the additions, and she goes, you know, when I'm in the studio recording my vocals, I have all the lights out, I'm holding my guitar and I'm sitting down. And I'm like, man, it feels like women. She goes, sitting down.
Really?
And so, I mean, and when she was talking to Logan about First Nations and all of those type of things, you know, they really open up, And what it does is it puts the artist in a trusting place, and that is critical.
Scott, honestly, we could probably sit here for the rest of the morning and talk to you about this because there are so many questions. I can't wait to see
really
next
cool
week's
show.
episode. It's a really cool show.
Much.
It's a great concept, perfectly executed yesterday. I can't wait to see the rest of the show. We appreciate it.
You had your own launch yesterday, so congratulations.
We did. Very proud day.
You should be, and we should remind everyone to watch The Launch Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on CTV.